Right now we're going to put together a very quick workflow that will allow us to enable file and folder naming, file and folder routing, and also enable bait stamping on our workflow. We will also then create a second workflow that will allow us to retrieve said documents from the system after we have created them. So to begin with, let's start by creating the workflow that will enable the file and folder naming and routing. So we will click the Add button and we will select the embedded device. We'll give this a name. Let's just call this bait stamping, because this is what we're going to be doing overall with this. It's going to be a scanner profile type, and we're going to hit OK. From here, we will create a field. In that field, we will call it, let's say, enter client name. So that's going to be the name of the client whose documents we're going to be scanning. We'll make it a mandatory input, and we will hit OK. So what that's going to do is create a field for us to enter a name into that is displaying the enter client name. From here, we'll go into our output. So from here, we'll enable the file output, as you see here, and we'll select a folder. Well, first of all, let's select a folder. I'll just take Drivve demo and baits. That's the easiest way. Then hit OK. So now, as you see, I have my folder path leading to the baits folder, but I also want to be able to allow it to name the folders and route the files accordingly. So what I'm going to do is select to use a field variable. I'm going to add another folder to this list, and we'll use the input field of enter client name. So what's going to happen now is that when the user enters a client name, it will use that client name to create a folder. So every client will have a folder. We will say create folder if none exists, and from there what we can do is enter some more information for our processing, for example. So let's go to processing. Let's enable bait numbering. Now this is going to turn the bait stamping on. Now if we want to have a very specific style of bait stamping, let's say for example we want to have the client name and the baits numbering, all we have to do is as follows here. We click add to add a client. Now each client will have to be listed in the profiles you see here. So let's just say client 1, client 2, because I already had a folder for client 1, as you may have seen. Then OK. So from within here I can start selecting information for my bait stamping. Let's say we want to have 4 numbers for our bait stamping, so that it's 0000 is the starting number, and then it starts incrementing from there. If we want to have a prefix, say our client name, we can very easily go into the field variables again, select our client name and hit enter. Now what's going to happen is every time a user enters a client name, it will prefix that client name before the baits numbering. So as you see, you're getting a very customized bait stamping system here straight away. If we want to have the bait stamping on the bottom right, for example, we can move it there. We could also very easily change the color. Let's make it red so that it stands out a little better. We could change our font, and we could change the font size, embolden it, italicize it, whatever we really wish to do. From here, I think everything's ready, so I'll hit OK, and I'll hit OK again. Now as you see, every client that we create will have their own bait system, so you can start their baits numbering wherever you wish to begin from. So if you already have a system in place that has your baits numbering running to, let's say, 0150, and you want to begin a certain client at 0151 using Drivve, that's very simple. You just set that as your beginning number. So now if we go back to the output, as you will see, for file name generation we can very simply select Bates and give it the Bates number. So now when we hit OK, when we save a document, it's going to save into the client folder with the Bates number that the system gives it. So at this point I will save. There we go, I've saved everything. So now when I go to the panel demo, which as you see here, the Bates stamping field here, so I can press this. This is just a demo of how it would look on the actual panel of the copier. So I'm going to call this client 2, because as I say, we already have a client 1 folder. So I'll hit OK. So there we go, enter client name. At this point I can hit scan, and everything seems good there with my settings, so I'll hit scan again. It's just creating a virtual document for me now, so at this point I'll hit finish, and I can exit my virtual panel. Now if I browse into the folder, Drivve Demo Bates, as you see, there's my client 2 folder just appeared, and there is the Bates number 0001. So now we've just created a system that will allow us to both name and route folders as well as issuing Bates numbers. If I open the folder, you'll see once it opens in the bottom right hand corner, there it is, client 20001. This was set to scan in black and white, therefore the Bates numbering has appeared in black and white because it's not issued a colour. So if I close this down now and close this folder as well, and now we can set up, as I mentioned before, a retrieval system that will allow us to pull the documents back and print them back out with the Bates numbering on them if that's something that we needed to do. So let me hit add, and from here I will select the embedded device. I will just call it print a document, and this time we're going to set it as a printer profile type and hit OK. Now I'm just going to say select client as my display, make it mandatory, and hit OK. So now as you see we have the select client input type, and we just need to tell it what folder to browse within. Now we're going straight to the desktop, so it's going to be my Drivve demo and Bates folder. If I hit OK and then save, now what we have is a system that's going to allow us to retrieve documents from Drivve and print them out directly from the copier, and it will also issue the Bates numbering on the system for us. So as you see, within a very short period of time we've created a very straightforward system that will speed up your workflows in general.